This is VSiN, the sports betting network.
The numbers told the story, they always do.
It's one of those idiots who believe in analytics.
This is a numbers game with Gil Alexander on VSiN.
Good Tuesday morning to you. It is a numbers game at VSiN, the sports betting network, VSiN.com, Game Plus, iHeartRadio, YouTube TV, and of course, Sirius XM channel 158. It's Gil Alexander, and that right there, everybody, is Kelly Bidlin.
Hey, how we doing?
What's happening?
Lights, camera, action. Let's go, Gil.
Lights, camera, action. We got a show today.
We do.
Show. That's a great intro. We got a show.
We got a show.
Yeah, we got.
Maybe you'll like it, maybe you won't.
We got hockey. We got college hoops. We got college football. We got fantasy. We got NBA. We got it all. NFL, of course, top of the heap. Jay Kahn on the NHL. Drew Dinsick on the NFL and NBA. What a night in the association.
Oh, it was so good
Last night. Victor Wembanyama calmly hitting a 3 to tie and a 3 to put the Spurs ahead last night was probably the top of the whole thing. But there was a bunch of OT games. There was just incredible performances.
We'll get into it after Monday Night Football because there's probably about 5 endings that are worth discussing.
Incredible. Jeff Erickson on fantasy and his Week 11 thoughts. Matty Cox from 3-Man Weave. That's a tough booking, everybody. Yeah, you know, these kids forget where they came from, Kelly. That's what they do. Matty Cox is on here. And Tyler Shoemaker on college football a little later on the show. Plus, we'll look at make-miss playoffs in the NFL. We'll do some Survivor talk, which is our habit here on Tuesdays, and power rankings.
Yeah. Plug them in, power them up.
I think we finally got the power rankings right. Finally. Only took 10 weeks.
I think so, too.
Yeah. Only took 10
Me and you were
weeks.
pretty similar again, too.
Yeah.
Last week was more fun because there was violent movement, right, in our power rankings.
A violent disagreement is what there was.
There was violent movement in our power
Yeah.
rankings. This week, not so much. But yeah, some fine-tuning. I think we're in the fine-tuning stretch.
I hope so. That will help win some bets at some point. Last night, in case you missed it, Philadelphia and Green Bay. And when I say in case you missed it, maybe you had YouTube TV and you missed it. Can I just say this about the YouTube TV ESPN dispute, which is ongoing?
Probably shouldn't, but sure.
Why? Well, no, I just want to say this. It would be nice if they solved it.
It would be nice. That would be nice.
That's all
yes,
I'm gonna say.
for a lot of people. Yeah.
That's all. And I'm just saying, you know, the discount could be made easier. That's all I'm saying. All right, Philadelphia, Green Bay. Philadelphia wins it 10-7, bookending week number 10 in the NFL with 2 10-7 games. Remember, the Broncos beat the Raiders last Thursday night 10-7, and the Eagles do it here tonight, or last night, 10-7 at Lambeau. And an interesting game in many ways. Let us begin guessing lines out. First of all, Green Bay, first drive, 4th and inches at the Philadelphia 41. Kelly, they eschew. It's the first of 3 times we're going to say this word.
Yes.
They eschew the 59-yard field goal try. They go for it. Love gets 2. Packers' offensive line, by the way, moved early, uncalled.
Yeah, absolutely.
But then after a Jalix Hunt sack on the next play, they had to punt. Philadelphia, multiple Eagles move early in Tuchus Bush formation for their first down. Uncalled. That led to a 3rd and 8 at the Green Bay 24. Hurts for 10, but the ball poked out by Edgerrin Cooper, recovered by Keyshawn Nixon. Green Bay then 4th and 1, own 45, false start called. That's a 3 and out. They were going to go for it, perhaps. Philadelphia 3 and out. Green Bay 4th and 2, own 46. They try to draw Philly offside. They take the delay. They punt. 3 and out from Philly, 3 and out from Green Bay. Philly punts. Green Bay 2nd and 10 at the Philadelphia 27. Love takes his 2nd straight sack in the sequence, this time by Nakobe Dean. Tries to make a play with the ball. He fumbles it, recovered by Jalen Phillips. And Philadelphia and Green Bay scoreless at the half. The first scoreless first half since 2023. Since the 2023 season. None this year, none last year.
And the first Monday Night Football since 2009.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Second half, 3rd quarter, Philadelphia first drive. They get a Jake Elliott field goal. The scoreless tie has been snapped. 3-0 Eagles. Green Bay then 4th and 9 at the Philly 41. Kelly, they eschew a 59-yard field goal try. Love intended for Bo Melton after Dobbs couldn't reel it in a potentially big pass on the previous play. Yeah. Incomplete. Philadelphia 3 and out. Green Bay, they get to the Philly 35, but then an illegal formation. Incomplete. They eschew, that's the last one, a 58-yard field goal try. Melton has his toe on the line on the punt when he tries to pin the Eagles in jail there at the half-yard line instead of touchback. Philly still up 3-0. We'll get to why the eschew is so important, of course, Moving on here. Philadelphia, 4 plays, 80 yards. Hurts to Saquon for 41. Almost all of it Yak to Devonta for 36. Touchdown, 10-0 Eagles. 10:35 left in the game. Then Green Bay crosses midfield for the 4th straight time. This time, what happens here? This time, as he loses his place. Let's see here. Saquon 4 times. Oh, here we go. This time they cash it in. 11 plays, 75 yards, 446. Jacobs in from 6, 10-7 Philly, 5:49 left. Not so fast Eagles. Then the Eagles get to 2nd and 8 at the Green Bay 43 with 2:34 left. Okay, this is where the coaching part of the game, besides the eschewing, here's where the coaching part of the game really takes forefront, center stage. And when I say take center stage, I mean, what the heck was anybody doing? So Philly's up 10-7 now. They get it to 2nd and 8 at the Green Bay 43 with 2:34 left. Green Bay uses their first time out. Now, Philly had just run Saquon 4 straight times for 15 yards total. But then they decide, well, let's try to end this with a pass, right? Because it's still, what it'll be, like 2 timeouts left in the 2-minute warning. They can't end it, but they can really put a nail in the coffin, let's say. They decide to pass, incomplete. Stops the clock. Then 3rd and 8, incomplete again, and they punt the football. So Green Bay now, from their own 10 with 2:18 left, with 2 timeouts, they get it to 4th and 1 at their own 44, and then Eagles defensive tackle Moro Ojomo is yelling, inside zone this way, inside zone this way. You can hear it on the broadcast. Josh Jacobs hit by Jalen Phillips. Reed Blankenship knocks the ball out of Jacobs' hands. Philly recovers it. So Philly now at the Green Bay 37, up 3 with 1:22 left. You figure, well, it's over, right? So they end up 4th and 6 at the Green Bay 35 with 33 seconds left. Green Bay's out of timeouts now. The only play here, Kelly, is to pooch this.
Yes.
You got to pooch this.
The only play.
It's the only play. You pin Green Bay deep, or worst case scenario, the punter puts it in the end zone. It's a touchback.
Yes.
Instead, Nick Sirianni apparently loses his mind, and they decide to go for it. And Hurts then decides, why don't I throw this deep to A.J. Brown? Incomplete. So Green Bay, from their own 36, with 27 seconds left, has a puncher's chance at this. And they get an 18-yard play, a Love to Melton hookup. They get it to 1st and 10 at the Philly 46 with 5 seconds left. All right, 46. Remember all that eschewing before? All right, those were 59s and 57s and 58s. All right, so Philly calls timeout here. But Brandon McManus, gets off a practice kick when he's really not supposed to. They're supposed to stop him from doing that after the timeout. But he gets it off, and the Packers get the information that, this 64-yard try is going to end up a few yards short. It was a good kick, but he just couldn't get it there.
And smart by McManus, right? Because we heard the booth official explaining it, that it's not a penalty. The ref is supposed to go there to stop it. And McManus was like, run this, snap this. Let me get a kickoff.
So armed with that information and the extra stoppage here with the Philly timeout, Matt LaFleur wakes up and says, maybe with 5 seconds we should run an out pattern and get a few more yards. So they do at that point, even though they weren't going to. But Philly's timeout and the practice kick perhaps sort of jogged his brain. They try it, incomplete anyway. So with 2 seconds left.
Did they really try, though?
Yeah, it was done. Not
Jordan Love had a lot more confidence in McManus than LaFleur did, apparently.
Well, it should also be noted that Lucas Havrisik was sitting on the bench. Now, Lucas Havrisik is the Packers kicker who came in when McManus got hurt initially. Lucas Havrisik, also in his time kicking for the Packers, owns the Packers' longest field goal ever record, franchise history. He's sitting on the bench. Kelly now is impressed with my recap because he didn't pick up on this information.
Wait, he was eligible to play?
Yes. And ladies and gentlemen, with 2 seconds left, McManus from 64, let's just say you and I might have been able to kick it just as well. It went, how can I put this, sideways. It had no chance.
So, every one of these situations, right? The coach talks to the kicker. Where's your range from, right? What did you hit pregame? I know the condition. You should know.
Think about everything that we just went through in that game. Yeah. In a 10-7, this 10-7 game was way more interesting than the 10-7 Broncos-Raiders game. Because this one, again, Sirianni, what the hell were you doing going for that? Why didn't you pooch punt it? That is, we do a Dumbo of the Week thing on the Megapod. I don't know if you beat that. I really don't know. LaFleur not figuring out that last field goal situation, also juxtaposed with the 3 times earlier in the game where he's like, we don't need the 3 points, right? Because you get in this mode of football where you're allergic to field goals, apparently, in this day and age. Then the Eagles, Moro Ojomo, calling out the 4th and short play. You know, I mean, there's so much of that in that ball. There was so much in there. Jalen Phillips having a big performance for the Eagles. He was awesome. Yeah. He was awesome. And I just have to say this about the Green Bay Packers, and this will come up in our NFL Power Rankings, I believe, after this game. But if we talk about, like, you throw up these teams however you want them in the NFC, and who knows who ends up in the Super Bowl, it's getting really hard to consider the Packers as one of these. They beat the Lions the very first game of the year really, really well. But you could say, hey, that was the first game for both Lions coordinators, right? You could make that case. Here are the other Packers wins this year. Washington, Cincinnati, Arizona, Pittsburgh. Here are their losses now. Cleveland, Carolina, and finally this one last night, and of course the tie with Dallas. That is not a good resume of games in the least bit. So I don't know how you can't put them that high in your power rankings just because they haven't beaten anybody besides that first Lions game, the opening day of the season.
What's sad is I have slightly more concern about them than I do about the Philadelphia Eagles, and they only have 2 losses. Neither offense can get going. The defenses look good.
I don't know. On the other hand, the Eagles are beating all the good teams. They got tiebreakers over all their competition, and when push comes to shove, when Tuch's push comes to shove, do you not trust this team? I do. I still do. Coming back on a numbers game at VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
If you're serious about football betting, VSiN's got your weekend game plan. Fridays at 7 p.m., it's the Circa Friday Football Invitational. Saturday morning, VSiN's college football tailgate show at 9 a.m., breaking down matchups, props, and big-time bets. Later that night, join the football contest show as the sharpest betting minds give you their picks for Sunday's game. And Sunday at 9 a.m., lock in with Mitch and Paulie on VSiN's Pro Football Tailgate Show. Your final stop before kickoff. Check out the full lineup at VSiN.com and join us on the Sports Betting Network.
So, Paulie, have you had a chance to read the VSiN Daily yet?
Yeah, came in at 3 a.m. What's Bill doing up that late?
Well, rumor has it starts off with a 12-hour meditation session.
Then he just pours himself over film and live TV, really focusing and taking it all in. Bill's in with the biggest insiders, talking trade secrets, strategies, the whole nine, absorbing the info.
And then and only then can the writing process begin.
In Las Vegas, Bill's late night becomes your early morning. Wake up to the very latest betting insights in your inbox with the VSiN Daily. Sign up for free at vsin.com/newsletter.
Coming up on the next edition of Follow the Money, Paul Stone, 4-0 last week. Best bets in college football, Nick Bogdanovich from Boomer Sportsbook. Talk about his thoughts on the college football season. And props, Derek Stevens with an update on all the contests after a wild weekend in Survivor. Follow the Money 4 to 7 Eastern on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Now Sirius XM Channel 158. Check out the website for all the betting tools and analysis, or get the VSiN Watch app.
A numbers game on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Want to bet smarter? Start with Smarter Insights. Right now you can check out Greg Peterson's college basketball best bets, Tuesday's Maction, and Tyler Shoemaker's Week 12 college football picks. And later today, you can check out Zach Cohen's NBA picks and props, Jonathan Davis's NHL best bets, and Wes Reynolds' Bermuda Championships. You ever been to Bermuda, by the way?
No. Would love to go, though.
It's lovely. Unlock every article with VSiN Pro. The Sports Equinox Special gives you full access through May 1st, 2026 for just $120. Sign up now at VSiN.com/subscribe and stay sharp through the springtime. Skill Alexander, we get tweets at Beating the Book. This is from Jason H11. I needed Kelly to interpret this for me, but now I understand. He says, Gilly, what's with all the sneezing? Are you coming down with a cold? I think you're correct. He meant the eschewing.
The eschewing, yes.
Yes. This is, let's see.
The temps are dropping, though. And whenever the temps drop, I immediately get a little coldish, too.
Chad Verino. Ever listen to a podcast and think you know what someone looks like? I thought Kelly had long hair by the sound of his voice.
I really enjoyed waking up to this tweet.
Anyways, I have a JT for MVP, 150-1, and a Colts Super Bowl ticket at 100-1. Tell me I have a shot at least one of them. Oh, yeah, you got a shot at least one of them.
That's exactly what I replied. So one of those has a shot, for sure.
It's not the JT one, I don't think. But, I mean, in a different world, it would be. Buddhist Man quoting us. Gil, we got a show today. Kelly, maybe you'll like it, maybe you won't. Pick 10. Correct, Gil. I was losing my mind. Punt the ball.
I was so confused. I still can't get over it.
Joe Abraham. Let's throw a low percentage bomb on 4th and 7 instead of a 10-yard pass to clinch the game.
As we were laughing about on air, the fade to A.J. Brown, as if not enough of it has been made of all year, Gil, of how effective this play has been, right? No, A.J. Brown hasn't been upset or anything, right?
No.
Like, this has worked every time. Just roll that out.
It's a very reliable play. Murphy, 11821. Guys, I think listening to VSiN has affected me subconsciously. Got out of bed last night, scuffling my way to the bathroom in the dark. Wife asked what time it is. I glanced at my radio alarm clock and replied, 2:20, juice to the over. Wow. Ginger, Sam Darnold, MVP 10-1. If the Seahawks beat the Rams this week, doesn't this move way down? Yeah, if he has a lot to do with it, it would. It would, for sure. Yeah. One other sort of pet peeve from last night's football game. In the same way that, have you ever, does this bother you as much as I do, that somebody says something and it catches sort of media fire, right? Mm-hmm. Meaning it becomes sort of viral, where everyone repeats the same thing over and over again and no one actually fact checks it. So in the same way that, remember when Jaden Daniels got hurt, everybody's saying, oh, same stadium, same down, same opponent. And then everybody says same yard line, right? Okay. If the opponent's 4-yard line and your own 4-yard line is the same yard line, then it's the same yard line. But it's not the same yard line, right? Stop saying that. RG3 was at his own 4. Jaden Daniels was at their 4. Anyway, so in the same way that just no one ever checks that, right? And they just go with it. Everybody talking about the on the lead up to the game yesterday about the Packers were the one who submitted this tush push thing. They were the ones. Man, I think the Eagles are going to try to troll them with multiple tush pushes, right, or that kind of thing. Okay, the real story is, right, and I guess I wish people would, before they run with something like that, the league office used the Packers as the team to submit that proposal. Why? Because the Packers don't actually have an owner, and so no owner would say no to it. That's why the Packers ended up being the team to be the lead team, quote unquote, on trying to ban the tush push. So that's just another little pet peeve.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's that.
And then we got the whole tush push experience again last night of just people. Separate issues, Gil. Officiating, this is going to drive me nuts. This is the thing that's going to drive me nuts, of the false starts on the tush push, and the officials not calling it. Everybody just wants to immediately go ban the tush push. It's two separate issues. If you want to ban the tush push, I'm not gonna argue it. I do think if I was an Eagles fan, I would write in stone. They had to ban a play just because they couldn't stop us. I would leave it at that. It is not the tush push's problem, though, that the officials cannot do their job on that play.
How many times have we talked about
it? It's wild, and it just keeps happening every week.
I'll say it for the 20th time. They've always had the wrong argument. They've always tried to think up a new argument, right? Aesthetically unpleasing. Causes too many injuries. No data to support that. Now it can't be officiated. That's a new one this year.
It's not their fault.
Right?
It's not their fault if they can't officiate.
The only proper argument against is defense can't push its own players. And it used to be that they could. And so we'll just go back to those. I mean, that's the argument.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you can't have this play. Offense can push their own players, but defense can't. Competitive disadvantage. That's the argument.
Like, all
the other stuff is just made up on the fly. Like, it's like John Lovitz. It's aesthetically unpleasing. That's the ticket.
All right. As a Commanders fan, coming from a Commanders fan, do you want this play outlawed?
I'll go back to the playoff game. Remember when all the Commanders were just like jumping off sides on purpose? They're making a mockery like, well, we're just going to jump 2 seconds before the play. Do I want it banned? No, not really.
See, and this is where, like, I think there's a lot of people that would say yes, and I would worry about Joe Pita and all the Eagles fans in the world for the rest of your lifetime being like they had to get rid of a play just because of us.
But if it got banned based on the argument that, well, we just figured defensive players, if they can't push, then you can't do this. Offensive players can't push you. If they banned it based on that, I'd be okay with it.
That's fine.
But you can't ban it on the other stuff.
You can't ban it on the other stuff. You can't let the Eagles walk away with a victory from that settlement.
Well, we can't officiate it, as it turns out. So
I get it's just.
Though I will say, on that first 4th and short yesterday, the Eagles. I know the Packers didn't get called for you. They moved so early, and they didn't catch it.
It's laughable. It is. It's laughable. But like, I'm not blaming the Eagles for that. Get it together, officials.
All right, AFC and NFC playoff picture in terms of make-miss playoffs. We want to go through this. Sometimes we'll do segments that will produce bets. We did the number 1 seed. I've been saying Patriots for the last few weeks that we've done it. Hope people have gotten on that. AFC playoff picture, make-miss. There's only one. I don't know how you feel about this, Kelly, but as I looked at all of these in both the AFC and NFC, and this dovetails with what we were talking about yesterday, that are there really any playoff positions up for grabs?
Yeah.
Very few.
Very limited.
I look at the AFC playoff. You see the makes and the misses. Makes on the left, misses on the right. And it, reflects exactly what our conversation was yesterday. All the minuses above the horizontal line are on the left to make, with the exception of the Steelers, because that's the AFC North playoff position. And so you see the 1 minus number on the Ravens below that. And the Jaguars have who are currently in playoff position, have a plus position, because people assume, as I do, that the Chiefs will overcome them for that final playoff spot. The only play here that you can talk me into is the Bengals 10-1 to make the playoffs. That's the only one. And again, we talked a little bit about this yesterday, which is to say that if the Bengals beat the Steelers this week, we'll get to that in our Survivor segment later. But if the Bengals are to beat the Steelers this week, then all of a sudden, no matter what the Ravens do, the Bengals will only be 1 game out of the lead in the AFC North. And this just in, Joe Burrow looks like a Thanksgiving return.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they're shooting for. So if that happens this week, all of a sudden 10-1 to make the playoffs becomes live. Because again, it's a very weak division.
So I'll bring that up because we've done this before when we've talked about the North.
It's literally the only make or miss bet to make.
Wouldn't you rather play the Bengals 15-1 to win the North?
Oh, absolutely. I haven't gotten there yet, but I'm just saying in this vacuum, that's the only thing I would do. So there's no other make or miss playoff bet I could justify.
The only one I'll go back to, I brought it up last week when we ran through this stuff too, because I wanted to bring this back, right? Because we said this last week, and then we said this yesterday again of like, well, we're kind of sure of what we feel like these playoff pictures are looking like, and it's only week 11 here.
Yeah.
The Jaguars miss is the only number I could play on that AFC board.
Minus 180 to miss. Yeah.
Minus 180 to miss.
Yeah.
And the only other one, we pointed this out last time because there was a stark difference in this the last time where the Ravens number was much juicier to go win the division. It's only a 20-cent difference now, Gil. They're minus 260 over at DraftKings to win the AFC North, minus 280 to make the playoffs. I'd probably lose the 20 cents of value and play them to make the playoffs if I was going to play that.
Again, Ravens' schedule is super easy. That's why the quote-unquote confidence there. Now ask me those other Bengals questions you just asked. What were you just about to say about the Bengals?
About winning the division?
You said beyond the division. Now, you said, would you rather play, instead of playing the 10-1 to make the
playoffs, or to win the AFC North?
15-1 to win the division would be the play.
Right, correct.
Yes, would be the play. Now, beyond that, right, because people are going to then extend, what about AFC? What about Super Bowl? Joe Burrow doesn't play defense, does he? That's the only thing I would say.
No, he does not.
Yeah. So no to those. But yes, division greater than make playoffs. And then the NFC, literally, Kelly, I don't think there's one.
There's nothing.
There's nothing.
I mean, unless you wanted to play the Bears to miss.
Bears to miss at minus 170.
But like, Gil, even as much as I believe that's going to happen, I wish I had more teams to challenge them than the 49ers.
Right. I don't think there is a play that really leaps off the page.
Me neither.
Yeah. All right, let's talk some hockey on the other side. Jake Hahn with an early season hockey heat check and all his plays today in the NHL. It's a numbers game at VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Got a good thing coming, just wait and see. It's a good. Sports betting game with VSiN's exclusive betting splits. Stay ahead with real-time market trends and track bet percentages on any matchup, then uncover the edge by comparing them to the amount of bets placed to find out where the sharp money is headed. Upgrade to VSiN Pro to access betting splits, live odds, line moves, power ratings, and in-depth game analysis. Go to VSiN.com/pro to join VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
This is VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
A numbers game on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Little breaking news from the National Basketball Association from Shams Charania. The Dallas Mavericks and owner Patrick Dumont are expected to fire GM Nico Harrison 10 a.m. Central. That's top of the hour here.
Mm-hmm.
On Tuesday, sources tell Shams and Tim McMahon. No truth to the rumor that Patrick Dumont's first words in the press conference will be like, "Wait, you traded Luka?" He's just coming out of the funk of that now.
Yeah, well, Nico said when he made the move, defense wins championships, Gil. They've got the fourth best defense in the NBA right now.
Do they?
The offense, though, 29th.
They're 3-8. Or as Steve Spurrier said,
Ungood.
Well, suppose some teams are 2-8. That's Steve Spurrier. Pelicans are 2-8, the only team that's worse than the Mavs thus far in the Western Conference. In the Eastern Conference, the Nets and Pacers are both 1-9. Poor Pacers.
Actually, let's play
and the Wizards are 1-10.
Let's play the whole offense-defense game. So meanwhile, the Lakers sitting there with the 7th best offense, 23rd best defense. But what's the record? 8-3.
Defense wins championships, says Nico
Defense
Harrison.
wins championships.
Yeah. This had to happen.
It was coming.
It was coming.
Hey, look, Cooper Flagg was his last bailout. But man, they went into this season with such terrible roster construction. The idea that you're going to run out Cooper Flagg and have him be your point guard and not much depth behind him to begin the season was always a little absurd. It has not worked out very well so far. I guess it's just a little sad that Cooper Flagg had his best game of the season so far. I
was just about to call up his exact stats. Pardon me.
But it also happened in a game that they were controlling for the vast majority, should have won, and the Bucks came back and won the thing.
Yeah, Cooper Flagg with 26 in defeat, 26-9, 9 boards as well from Cooper Flagg. Let's talk some hockey. Jake Hahn joins us now, courtesy of the Progressive Guest Line. You can follow him on Twitter at jhahn4. That's JHAHN4. Co-host of The Point, Monday through Friday, 1 to 3 Eastern, and the Fantasy Hockey Show, Fridays at 2 p.m. Eastern on SiriusXM NHL. Also co-host of NHL Fantasy on Ice podcast on NHL Fantasy. Good God, I got to go for like a minute with everything you're doing.
Jake working,
How you doing, Jake?
Busy, like you just said, Gil. Very busy this time of the year. There's snow on the ground. It's hockey weather. And you guys just went over the news with the Dallas Mavericks. We've somehow made it to November 11th in the NHL season without firing anybody, which is a very long run for the NHL. So coaches beware. I think everybody, the hot seats get cranked up a little bit, but there's no truly bad teams in the National Hockey League this year. I think that's kind of why we're seeing this. But the closer we get to Christmas, maybe even American Thanksgiving, you might see some of those hot seats cranked up in the NHL. Usually we got like 2 guys fired by now.
Can I ask you a sports talk radio question about hockey and coaches? Yeah. We have seen, we could list them, right? But here in Vegas alone, we could list a couple coaches that got fired in a fashion that you wouldn't see in other sports. In other words, hey, you just came off a Stanley Cup final a little while ago. We're going to fire you. Or we've seen in the case of the Washington Capitals, right? Like you win a Stanley Cup. It's like, okay, we've seen enough of you. Hockey seems to have the highest rate of that, where coaches get fired after massive success like a minute ago. Why is that the case in hockey as opposed to all other sports?
We've spent shows and shows and shows trying to figure it out. And I do think there's some knee-jerk reaction to it. There's a little bit of what have you done for me lately? But in a couple of those examples you mentioned, Gil, and I think the one that stands out the most was Washington winning the Cup and Barry Trotz. Now, it wasn't technically scored as a firing. I think it was more so a contract not being renewed and a coach not coming back. Now he's actually a general manager for the Nashville Predators. But I looked at that and I thought, really? Like this guy was one of the reasons why you won and was such a you'd think you would prioritize this over everything. Money shouldn't matter in this type of situation. So it leaves me scratching my head. I prefer the teams with coaching consistency, guys that have been there for a while. John Cooper in Tampa Bay, Rod Brendamore in Carolina. I can't name too many more, Gil, because most of the guys have only been there for like 2 years because we continue to fire the league. There's only really a handful of guys that have been coaches for longer than 5 years in this league.
It's always been interesting to me about hockey, why it's like that. What about we look at the Stanley Cup market to win the Stanley Cup, and I know we're only, 15 to 17 games into a 82-game schedule. But I also say this about hockey. Unlike other professional sports in North America, you have 8 teams, right, bunched up at the very top. And that's unlike what we see. To win it all, we're talking about. That's unlike what we see in other sports. Do you believe that any of those 8 teams, Lanch, Hurricanes, Golden Knights, Panthers, Oilers, Stars, Lightning, Devils, you think any of them can win the Cup?
Well, I think all of them could stake a claim to it. I think the two that we have seen play in the last 2 Stanley Cup finals, Edmonton and Florida, have shown a lot of vulnerabilities. Now, Florida did get a nice win in Vegas on the road last night, maybe steady the ship a little bit, but they've got some huge injuries. Edmonton's just doing the Oilers thing. They do this every year. October, November, we're asking questions about goaltending, depth scoring, defense. And then they somehow seem to find it late in the season. So I don't know if I want to play this game with Edmonton again. I'm going to need to see life from them before I buy into any sort of Cup future market. Colorado's shown they're probably the team to beat, at least at the moment. But the team to beat in November sometimes isn't the team to beat come springtime. So I'd be careful, jumping on them, especially at those current odds. I think if I were to play anything, I would go with a team I had strong preseason perceptions on that's just maybe not playing up to their standards just yet, but I still believe in long term. I look at a team like the Washington Capitals, 25-1 on your board right there. That's not a bad number in a Metro side of the bracket that seems pretty gettable. The Winnipeg Jets as well, as tough as the Central is, they've proven a lot to me over the last couple of years. They lost in the second round of the playoffs last year. I think at 25-1, that's probably the healthiest number you can get, where you can get a bit of a sweat. You could get a team that's likely to make the playoffs. It is going to be a gauntlet for them to go on a deep run, but 25-1 on the Jets doesn't look like a bad number to me.
All right. Well, since you bring up the Capitals, before we get to your picks today, I feel compelled to ask this question. So Alex Ovechkin just got his 900th goal, right? Extending his all-time goal scoring record. Give me a yes-no price, a Jake Hahn yes-no price. He's 40 years old on Alex Ovechkin scoring 1,000 goals.
I'm going to put... I think no has to be the favorite in this situation. There's a lot of speculation this could be his last year. If this is his last year, there's no shot that he's going to get it. He's going to need to play a couple more years. So I'm going to set no at like minus 250, minus 300, something like that. I'm going to make it pretty chalky. And I think yes has to pay out pretty good in this situation, Gil, because it's tough. 1,000 is a lot of goals. And again, he's going to have to play for at least a couple more years and probably score at a good clip. And his scoring rate has gone down this year. I hope to see him get hot here soon. So as much as I really want it to happen, I'd love to see him go for 1,000. I think it's got to be the plus money in this situation.
I think that no price is getting steamed right now, Jake. People like that low no price for you. Right now. But you're right. I mean, impossible? No, because who knows what he's thinking at this point. All right, what about your plays today? What do you got?
A lot of props on the card, but I'll start with some sides and totals. I like the Dallas Stars money line on the road in Ottawa. I just to play what I think is on the better team. Now, Ottawa's won a few games in a row here, kind of steadied things a little bit. But I do like Dallas on the money line, getting a pretty decent price here. Again, just a team that I really buy in, I really believe in. I'll go out west to the Winnipeg-Vancouver game. I like the under 6. Now, I do want to see confirmed goaltenders for this one, but if it is going to be Connor Hellebuck versus Thatcher Demko, an all-American goalie clash, maybe 2 guys that will be teammates for the American team at the upcoming Olympics. I like those 2 goaltenders to go toe-to-toe under 6 in that game. And the San Jose Sharks just still not getting enough respect in the market, Gil. You could throw Anaheim in this as well. Now, Anaheim, Colorado is probably the game of the night, but I like San Jose. I'll take them plus 1.5 just to play it a little safer. I don't mind a sprinkle on the money line as well in Minnesota. The Wild, a team I really believed in coming into this year, have been very disappointing so far. And San Jose is on the ups. I still don't think the market has fully reacted to the fact that this Sharks team is not bad. Looks like they might get Will Eklund back tonight as well, which is a nice piece of that top 6. So I like the Sharks to at least keep it close in Minnesota tonight.
Any prop bets tonight?
I got lots. I'll give you a handful here. Mikko Rantanen over 2.5 shots in the Dallas-Ottawa game that I mentioned. I do like the Stars in that game. Brant Clark over 1.5 shots for the LA Kings on the road in Montreal. I like that one. And look to some Boston Bruins props, guys. The Maple Leafs cannot keep the puck out of their net right now. They lost to the Bruins in Toronto over the weekend. Now they get another crack at them in Boston on Tuesday night. I don't have a play on the game, but Morgan Geekie for a point. On the other side, William Nylander over 2.5 shots on goal. I like that. And you mentioned Washington. Washington, Carolina is another good game tonight. I like Nick Ehlers for a point at home for the Carolina Hurricanes. You could play a shot prop over 2.5 at plus money. Don't mind Svechnikov as well for shots or points in that game between Carolina and Washington.
Jake firing. Were you trying to get in and say something? Or is that what you were looking for? Props.
I was going to ask Jake, Sharks were supposed to be like the worst team in the league heading in, right? Right, Jake?
They have been the last 2 years, and they landed Macklin Celebrini, who looks like an absolute stud. He looks like a generational talent. Everybody in Canada here is debating, should this kid be on the Olympic team already? Same with Connor Bedard in Chicago. Now Celebrini's a year younger. It's only his second year in the league, but he's making a strong case for himself. He should be on that Olympic team, and he's incredible. There's other good players on this Sharks team too, and I think they're a little ahead of schedule. Like you said, Kelly, they were supposed to be the worst team in the league. They do not look anything close to the worst team in the league to me so far.
Jake, we appreciate it. 10 days after the Blue Jays Game 7 loss. People over it? People still talking about it?
Man. No, I think we've finally moved on. You're still hearing a little bit of murmurs about it, but it's there's snow on the ground now. We got a full snowstorm here, so everyone's thinking it's hockey weather now. Wow. Get the shovels out. We've moved past baseball season for now.
It does feel like 2 months ago.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Jake, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thanks, boys. Have a great night.
Jake Hahn, everybody. How about some Survivor talk? Let's do that and more. It's a numbers game right here at VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
VSiN's player prop projection tool is now available for the NBA. Get projections for points, assists, rebounds, and more powered by Opta AI. On VSiN.com/NBA props, we line up our projections against the latest DraftKings odds so you can quickly spot mismatches and find value before the market adjusts. The NBA player prop projections tool is available exclusively to VSiN Pro subscribers. Check it out now at VSiN.com/NBA props and join us on the Sports Betting Network.
Join the guru, John Hansen, at the intersection of prop betting and fantasy sports on Prop Points, only on VSiN.
Lesson number 1, Patty's back. I still believe that Caleb Williams is not any good. And, other than Roma Dunze, I don't trust anyone that can't run the ball.
John and his guests will help you find the connection between the two and give you his expert advice on how to capitalize when a number is too good to pass up. Prop Points, weekdays at 1 p.m. Eastern on VSiN.
A numbers game on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Get ready, Las Vegas. The Neon City Music Festival is here. A free, all-ages celebration of music, food, and art. Experience electrifying performances by Good Charlotte, Deadmau5, Frankie Benjamin, Two Friends, De La Soul, Fitz and the Tantrums, and more. This festival without fences will bring you mouth-watering food, stunning 3D graphics on the Viva Vision screen, and jaw-dropping performances, all free, November 21st through the 23rd. An experience you won't want to miss. Book your stay downtown at Circa Las Vegas. Details at neoncityfestival.com. That's neoncityfestival.com. We get tweets at Beating the Book, and let's start it out with one from Vegas Sparky, who says, shout out to all the military veterans. Happy Veterans Day, and thank you for your service. Yes, absolutely. Vegas Sparky, absolutely. And Kelly, we have a couple here at VSiN who we are close to.
I think many people know Dave Ross, but of course, by the books, Dave Ross, Marines served, so absolutely Dave. And then Chris Foster on our own crew, our audio op. He was Air Force Security Forces, so thank you to both of those gentlemen for their service. It is always days like this where it's just those guys doing jobs, the real heroes out there that we could never do. I could never do, Gil, that's for sure.
Deep Thoughts with Chris Foster, hopefully a segment in the future.
We're working on that one, yeah.
We're working on it.
He's got deep thoughts.
And then Dave Ross has some stories, huh?
Dave Ross, I could listen to him talk about his Marines days for forever, man.
It is amazing because once he tells those stories, because everybody on a day like this says, oh, thank you for your service, right? Mm-hmm. And it's like, by the way, lampooned and, and Curb Your Enthusiasm by Larry David, right? It's sort of for many, it's just a line. But when you hear stories like that, it really does hit home. You're like, oh, man, like this is just on a level that mere mortals like ourselves couldn't even.
Never. Never. Are you kidding me? Yeah, no dice. Jim Campbell, I know, listens to us every day, and he is out there doing something for the Wounded Warrior Project. He's out there riding his Peloton today. I think he's trying to get 100 miles today, raising money for the Wounded Warrior Project. Listening to us right now, so Jim, appreciate you as well.
Brandon Webb talking about the previous tweet where someone couldn't imagine what you looked like, Kelly. He says, I was so very wrong when I thought I knew what Amal Shaw looked like based only on his voice. Tom F. Kelly is so right. When the tush bush is finally banned, it'll be a feather in the cap and a great troll opportunity for us Birds fans. Scott Barbarak. Gil, awesome John Lovitz reference. Glad I wasn't drinking anything when you said it. I would have spit up a true LOL moment. Thank you. JT Speed to Burn. This is great. The officials can't officiate pass interference or roughing the passer either. Why not ban them too? That's kind of my point.
Yep.
Joe Belicious. Playoffs? May I submit Week 8 Jets-Bengals? As you said, Gil, Joe Burrow doesn't play defense. Love the show as always. Thank you, Joe Belicious. Jamie Samuel. Love the show as usual. Are we sure? This is a great comment. Are we sure that Joe Burrow, returning after injury, can do better than Joe Flacco has done after the past 4 games? I'm checking myself into a mental institution after writing this, but Flacco has been lighting it up, and they still lose. Jamie, this is a great point that you are making because, yes, we do get caught up. I'll raise my hand, right, as one of the masses who do this. We do get caught up in, oh, this person is better than this person. What you are really replacing is the production. Right? So most famously when not most famously, but one of the more famous things, when the Vikings first signed Kirk Cousins to a 3-year, $84 million contract, I believe it was. I made the point then, maybe over 3 years, Kirk Cousins will be a better proposition than what Case Keenum was this past year. But Case Keenum's production, the year of the Minneapolis Miracle, good luck Kirk Cousins topping that. So there is a little bit of that with Joe Burrow now replacing Joe Flacco, if Joe Flacco is to continue this heater that he's on. So that's a great point. John Fitzgibbons, might skip the Survivor segment for my mental health if you don't mind. Took the Panthers over the Bills. You'd think it would be some consolation that both lost, but now I find myself thinking, should have gone with Chicago. Survivor. Mile marker 420, Scott Kinley. I had two Survivor Revival tickets. Was going to be a genius last week. I took the Browns in Carolina. Oh, yeah. Lost my third entry the week before with Green Bay. See you next year. Jason Stark. Hey, Gil, we need to ban the backwards pass because the officials couldn't figure out how to call a false start in the Casey left tackle during an entire Super Bowl. See how stupid that reasoning sounds? Jason, I don't know. You think you're arguing with me? I'm saying the same thing. By the way, one of my pet peeves. I still don't know. What are you arguing with, people? You're not arguing with me.
I still don't know if they're agreeing or making fun of us now. I actually don't know what's going on.
No,
here
we made the point. We're on your side. Steve the Proxy. With Nico Harrison getting fired this morning, is he the biggest villain GM in sports history? I mean, Jerry Krause might be not might not be hated, but he did get 6 rings before he turned supervillain. Yeah, Jerry Krause was the first person who popped into my head as well.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, 6 rings, right?
6 rings. Sean's Fox Plays. Game was so good last night, halftime switched over to the Wiz Pistons game, which proved to be a great game. Flipped back to watch the 4th when the Wiz game was over and felt like I didn't miss anything.
Yeah, I was bouncing around to a lot of NBA. I know we got Survivor to do real quick, though. Did you look at Cade Cunningham's stat line by chance?
Oh, was it he shot the ball like 45 times or something?
He had 45 field goal attempts. 46 points. He had a triple-double. 46 points. He was 14 for 45 from the field.
You do not get praise for 45 points on 46 shots or the other way around.
You missed 31 shots.
Yeah, no. Sorry.
He missed 31 shots.
Well, you got to try to shoot that many times.
I know. It's incredible.
There are how many minutes in a basketball game?
It is incredible, man.
Wow. And last one, DJ Jams. Morning, Gil. Did Kelly start reading that hip-hop book? I heard him start the show off with a shout-out to Mr. Cheeks. Lights, camera, action, hit single. Shout-out to the entire group, Lost Boys. Renee was such a great hit. Have a good day, fellas.
Yeah, that shout-out might have been for another reason.
Yeah, he missed the lights, camera, action one. All right, Survivor, let's do it.
Hello, you play to win the game.
It's time for your weekly Survivor preview with Gil and Kelly.
I'm a survivor.
Look at B. At the height of her powers. Outstanding. All right, so we do this every week. Neither Kelly nor I are in this, but we do this for those who are. 1,000 left in Circa Survivor, 1,000 entries, each $18,178 intrinsic value. And then how many are left in Grandissimo? 5? Did I hear that right? 5 entries left in Grandissimo.
5 or 6?
One or the other. That's it. It's the list.
It's time to start talking about shopping, though, right?
Yeah. Well,
I'm not saying it's going to happen.
For Grandissimo, you're talking about
6. We're down to 6 in Grandissimo.
You're talking in Grandissimo, yes. Yeah. Not with 1,000 entries, not yet. I don't believe.
No, I'm talking about Grandissimo.
Yeah. All right, so here we go. These are the 6 teams that have bigger spreads than 3.5 points. These are the 6 teams that have bigger spreads than 3.5 points. There are 6 of them. 3 I like, 3 I wouldn't touch. One that I wouldn't touch, the Buffalo Bills. 5.5-point favorites hosting the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. There is a Bills game later at Cleveland. As we've seen with the Bills, though, you can't really trust them. You can't trust this.
I mean, absolutely right now. Right?
I would certainly not play them here hosting the Buccaneers.
I'm with you.
I'm not tempted. Baker Mayfield is going to be in your nightmares. By the way, 551 entries still have the Bills remaining in Circa Survivor, which is, again, roughly half. Not nearly as noteworthy a number of going into last week when there was only 35 entries remaining that had the Colts. So if you had the Colts, strategically it was a good way to play them and then see if the carnage happened elsewhere, which it did. But, roughly half have the Bills left. I wouldn't play them. I wouldn't play the Steelers either, Kelly. They're hosting the Bengals. We just talked about Joe Flacco. Shoot, I don't want to tempt that fate. Steelers are playing at Chicago and then hosting Miami later in the season. Can you trust the Steelers ever?
I don't know, but especially not this week.
I would not play this.
It's kind of the same thing as the Bills, right? It's actually, this is better to save, though, because I actually think you have more future value with the Steelers.
Yeah, well, yeah. I would not play them hosting the Bengals. $14.99 remaining have the Steelers. Still wouldn't play them. Last one I would not play of the bigger favorites on the board in the National Football League is the Ravens. The Ravens are 8-point favorites at Cleveland. Now, there is a home game against the Jets next week as well, which I think is more favorable than the division game at a really good defense, and who knows what the weather's going to be in Cleveland. Also, you do have the Ravens hosting Cincinnati on Thanksgiving. So, not saying you're going to play it that way if you still have the Ravens left, but you may still want to save them. So I would not play the Ravens here for 2 reasons. That you have them on Thanksgiving and they host the Jets next week. I'd kick that can down the road. Here are the 3 I would play. Patriots, Thursday Night Football, 11.5-point favorites against the Jets. The only other time to play the Patriots, maybe the better time, hosting the Giants, Week 13, he says with a question mark, because maybe this is even better.
I think this is probably better.
Yeah. Patriots, Thursday night. Yes, it is a Thursday night. Yes, it is division. I don't care. Patriots, I would absolutely consider playing. The other, by the way, 923 entries have the Patriots remaining. There's really no interesting quirk with who has what left. By the way, those numbers are going into this past week, so they're not exactly accurate. Texans at Tennessee. Texans are 7.5-point favorites at Tennessee. Kelly, I tried to talk myself out of the Texans as a potential play because I'm like, I don't know if I trust them. But then I keep looking at the Titans, and I'm like, okay, I'd still play them.
They have to be on this list.
They have to be.
Especially for a lot of people that are getting to the point where they're like, okay, great job, guys. I don't have any of those teams available.
Yeah.
You probably have the Texans available.
Texans do have a home game against the Raiders later in the year, but I'd still consider them this week at Tennessee. And then the other one's the Packers. Even on a short week after last night at the New York Giants, I still think that they do have a home game against Minnesota and a home game against Chicago later. There's only 418 entries heading into last week that had the Packers available. No one played